For a number of years now, coming up to 10 years, we have had a really strong working partnership with Sport Structures, and over the course of them 9+ years now. And one of the key stories that we talk about within their induction is the opportunities that they will have through the apprenticeship within our foundation.
I think working with Sport Structures has been really helpful for me, having never sort of been worked with an apprenticeship program before. The sort of support and the access, particularly with the tutor Jill, around how the guys are doing, how they're sort of progressing, what I need to do to support them when they need to have clear time in their schedules. It's just been quite an easy thing for me to pick up, which has been nice. I think the level of care that is given to the three of them, as the example of sort of last year's cohort, was really obvious, and Jill could tell me a lot about each of them individually, despite the fact that they were often having their calls together, and an online call once a month. The level of understanding about sort of each of their learning requirements and how each of them preferred to learn as well, because I think the three that we had on our apprenticeship program last year were three different people, and sort of catering to that was really clear that was easy to do. The other thing that's been really helpful has been the portal and the access to Apton, with that and the access that I can have in terms of seeing how they're doing, and that then gives me the capacity to sort of just have a check-in with them and go, have you done that yet? Where are you at with your EPA? Where are you at with your sort of preparing for your assessments and so on? And I think it's been helpful in the dynamic that I've had with each of the apprentices as well, to be able to have that knowledge sort of readily available to me without having to go and ask for it, but also then to be able to check in with them and go, okay, I know you've got your assessment coming up. Have you got everything you need? Do you need anything from me? Do you want to run through it with me before we then sort of, before that time? It's been really easy to access that kind of information. We have managed over this last year to retain 2 out of 3 of our apprentices, and the third of those is still completing work with us. One of our apprentices, now that he's a full-time member of staff, has gone on to set up his own street club session, which is our sort of community cricket sessions, and he started that in his apprenticeship. He's doing his assessment relatively soon because it was something he was interested in. It was local to his area, it was his community, and he wanted to have sort of that bit more responsibility for something and have something that he takes from the beginning through to delivery. So that's sort of been a really interesting project that he's been part of, that he's then fed into his learning and into his written documents that he's had to do on that side as well. The thought process is that the model works very well in terms of, we've had significant evidence of that over the last few years, in terms of having the community coach apprentices come in and become part of our team. We've actually going through a bit of a restructure within our community coach team to have some hybrid roles, which will feature, yes, predominantly coaching, but some of the sort of sports development mindset stuff will come in, and that's where we then potentially will be looking at, okay, well, is there, who are we having in those roles? Is there the opportunity to potentially look at like the level 4 apprenticeship in that space, where they're involved in project setup, they're involved in, advertising, delivering, recruiting participants, all of that side of things. And I think the fact that we have such a solid basis to work from is a really, if I'm going to go and talk to our board of trustees and say that I want this person to do an apprenticeship, it's a relatively easy argument to be having, given that we've got such success so far.
Apprenticeships for us are almost part of our DNA, from the director all the way down to our new modern apprenticeships. We've got 22 out of the 24 staff have all come through some sort of apprenticeship program over the years. So it really gives them, as well as the qualification, the experience, something to look towards, something to work towards as opportunities and jobs arise within our foundation that they can progress on.
The other aspect that we cover through Chance to Shine is our street cricket, which is community cricket sessions in spaces that don't potentially aren't the first thing you'll think of when you think of cricket. I think is the best way to put it. We'll be in sports halls, we'll be in sort of youth centres, multi-use games areas. Cricket that is accessible is the biggest thing and focus of that programme. And we have projects that are youth, so 8 to 15, and then young adult sessions as well that are 16 to 24, and we deliver those with a range of partners in terms of working with some youth centres, working with some refugee charities to deliver cricket in their sessions. It's a project that really gives us a lot of scope for the different types of work that our community coaches and our apprentices do. And it gives a lot of different sort of challenging situations at various points too in terms of learning opportunities.